So, well, look, let's bring in Nationals MP Michael McCormack now for more on this. Michael, good to see you. Thanks again for joining us. What do you expect that this meeting on net zero will achieve this week? I mean, if you don't come to a consensus with the Liberal Party, could there possibly be another split again?
Well, Danica, there won't be a lot of Nationals there because we've got a long-standing engagement with the business community, which has been locked in for some time. And I appreciate that there's going to be a long discussion with coalition members about what should happen and what shouldn't happen. But at the end of the day, net zero is hurting regional communities. At the end of the day, my electorate and many others besides are being carpet bombed with towers 260 metres high, with solar panels that are just covering the countryside, and with battery energy storage systems that local volunteer firefighters say if they catch fire, they're ill-prepared and unequipped to be able to put them out. So that's the reality that we're living with. And farmland prices, whilst they're going up at the moment, for those people who've got paddocks and properties next door to wind turbines, well, their land is being devalued. And it's causing such consternation, such hardship and heartache in the country communities that I serve. And I know this is being felt right across regional Australia. And it's simply not good enough to then, as a Member of Parliament, duly elected by the people who send you to Canberra to do a job, to then virtually thumb your nose at what they want. And what they want at the moment is to have net zero scrapped as a policy. That's certainly the way I am viewing it. That's certainly the way I'm hearing it, and that's certainly the way I'll be voting.
Michael, there have been reports this week the coalition could stay committed to net zero as an aspiration, but without any legally binding targets. I suppose that might be a way of uniting disparate groups, but it would be the ultimate cop-out, wouldn't it, to settle on that position?
As somebody said to me, it's like being half pregnant. I mean, you just can't go down this path. I mean, you can't have it as an aspirational target. I mean, you might as well then say, well, it'll be net zero by 2070 or net zero by 2080. I mean, where do you start and where do you stop? Net zero is hurting our economy. Net zero is going to deindustrialise Australia, and it's going to make energy bills higher and higher and higher. They're already unaffordable. Chris Bowen has overseen this and this reckless rollout of renewables. It's on his watch and it's on his head. And I have to say, it's so unpopular in regional Australia now. Yes, there will be pockets of resistance. There'll be people who think that we need to do more for the planet, and they do exist in regional Australia. But in the main, I'm talking about the people who are genuinely fearful for their wonderful little idyllic towns they've either moved to or they've lived there all their lives, their generational farming families. And they're now seeing this proliferation of wind turbines. I mean, in Crookwell, there's a proposed project that isn't even going to be connected to the grid, but they're doing it for the subsidies. And this is just wrong-headed. It's ill-conceived and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. National Senator Matt Canavan will outline details of a report which recommends dumping net zero to the Nationals tomorrow. But he admits the review does not include the costs. Here he was on the ABC today.
Look, we hope to do some of that work. Obviously, in the time we've had, that hasn't been done just yet. That's an extensive exercise. I would make the point that when the government announced its 2035 targets, it's done no modelling on the cost of reaching those targets. And as someone who's done economic modelling myself, I think we've got to be realistic about what that can and can't do. As I say, the scoreboard is very clear. The lived reality of net zero is very clear. It is not working for the Australian people.
Michael, what are you expecting from this report?
From Matt Canavan's report, I'm expecting he's done a deep dive. He's taken on board all considerations. He and Ross Cadell. He will present a thorough investigation, as he always does. He's an economist. He knows his stuff. Yes, he's against net zero, always has been, but I think he'll present a credible report. There are suggestions that it could cost $1.3 trillion. And, I mean, that was a credible report that came out recently too. And then, of course, you've got the situation where farmers are left, once the wind turbines have done their job, supposedly, what do they do with these huge piles of, well, they're junk, as Jasmine Jones, the Yass Valley Council Mayor, describes them. she's worried that her beautiful Yass Valley area with cold climate wines, with tourist destinations, as far as the eye can see, is going to be turned into an industrial junkyard. And she's right to be fearful.
Well, it's not just the Liberals and the Nationals who are producing reports. Chris Bowen has a report of his own produced by bureaucrats outlining what will be involved in terms of challenges and impact with net zero. But despite repeated requests, Chris Bowen is refusing to release that report to the public. Why would that be, Michael?
Oh, it's like a really bad episode of Get Smart, where that 1960 slapstick comedy where, you know, they get the cones down and and we heard in Senate estimates one of his people saying it contained material subject to legal, professional, privilege, deliberative matter, whatever that might be. It's like Chris Bowen's in the cone. He's talking to the chief. They're talking in the cone of silence. I mean, if it's in the public interest, they've got a right to release the information. I know Dean Smith, the senator from Western Australia, has been seeking that information. I realise this government, whilst it said it was going to come in and lift the secrecy and be all transparent, let the sunshine come in, but they're doing the exact opposite. They're taxing truth. They're making sure that any freedom of information requests are going to be charged. And here we have Chris Bowen. I mean, it would be a joke if it wasn't so funny, but unfortunately, Danica and James, the joke is on the Australian public because they're paying for Chris Bowen's failings through their energy bills. And let me tell you, he's no get smart. He's certainly not smart with this. And Agent 86, he ain't. But the joke is unfortunately on the Australian public, and they are very unsuspecting and they don't know what they don't know. This is information that should be in the public domain, and Chris Bowen is withholding it.
Yes, smart is not in his vocabulary. We're almost out of time, Michael, but just very quickly, should Barnaby Joyce be attending this week's Net Zero meeting, despite him toying with the idea of joining One Nation?
Well, I'd like to think that he will be, but look, life is decided by those who turn up. I'd really like to think that Barnaby will be in the room, in the Nationals room at 10:30 in the morning, so that we can have a good and free and frank and open discussion. I mean, his best mate is Matt Canavan. Matt's going to come with a section of the report, a draft of the report to outline where he's up to with his investigations. And it'd be really good for Barnaby to be in the room, to listen to that, to have his say, as we all will. But that will be a matter for Barnaby. But as I say, life is decided by those who turn up. If you don't turn up, well, you don't get a say.
Michael McCormack, thanks so much for joining us, and we really appreciated that trip down memory lane with the Get Smart episode. I greatly enjoyed that. Although I reckon Bowen is less like Maxwell Smart and more just like chaos.
Oh, perfect. I absolutely agree. Actually, yeah, perfect.